It's fine, sweetie.
Hello.
Hello.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Did I tell you I've been taking organic desiccated chicken organs?
I've
What?
taken powdered beef livers before.
How was that?
It was supposed to like help heal my leaky gut, and it didn't.
I'm taking it for anemia. I
Like
don't
But
think
chicken
my
though?
pills are longer.
I thought you were allergic to it.
Well, that's why I had to do chicken, not beef.
I didn't
Uh-huh.
figure like you'd have to like do a ton for chicken though, right? Like even when they talk about
I
iron.
don't know. Well, that's why I'm taking the pills because I looked at it and I was like, okay, I can do this. I can eat chicken liver. And then I was like, no, I can't. I can't eat chicken liver. This
Yeah.
shit look no. No, remember grandma used to eat liver, and remember, I don't know if it was Clarence or Camille and Ashley, but oh, it was Nick, and she tried to make him eat the liver and onions.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of traumatic stories of grandma trying to make me eat stuff.
I do. I remember sitting at that little table at 19th Street and eating liver, and maybe that's why I eating chicken liver. So anyway, they sell it in pill form, and you can just get back.
Do
Still
you feel
sounds gross.
stronger?
My nails, I'm, like one of the things about like anemia is like you're short of breath all the time, and I'm less short of breath for sure. So
I didn't
hopefully,
know. I thought anemia was where you got cold.
well, you're cold because your body is not getting enough oxygen to go to all your organs.
I thought it was a lack of iron.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
carries oxygen to your organs.
Was your dog okay?
I was having a dream.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, sweet baby angel.
So anyway, what happened this week?
Well, lots of stuff.
You
I
mean the world or like Donald Trump or
Man,
my
you know what I
life?
learned this week? I learned that there's people who are on Snap and are mad at other SNAP recipients because they think that if those SNAP recipients
Then they
got
would
less,
get
that
more
they would get
snap.
more.
It's just a sign of the times of how ignorant we are in America. It's like nobody wants to learn how the car works. They just want it to drive. And
Exactly. What I don't understand is how people don't, but everything is connected. There are all these people you have to. There's a work requirement with that. I think there should be, but there is. And then there's a list of exemptions that you can get. Right. So the people who are on SNAP are largely working, and they're not making enough to live because we haven't raised minimum wage, and we haven't raised minimum wage because of the corporations. But the corporations get, like Walmart, get benefits. It's 20. So Walmart gets 27% of all SNAP money come through Walmart.
Yeah, but the other thing about Walmart is not only does they get the SNAP benefit, but they also don't pay their workers enough.
Right. So their people are on, but then their 10% profit, not gross, is you can directly attribute it to SNAP. So they're double dipping. They get to pay their workers so little that they have to use, and then people come into Walmart and use SNAP. The
I feel like I mean I
is
haven't
not
confirmed this,
welfare.
but like wasn't it like Walmart and Wells Fargo are like the biggest employers of people on SNAP?
I know Walmart is one of them, but I don't know who. I didn't
I
know
thought it
that
was like
Walmart.
Wells Fargo and maybe the military.
There is a surprising number of people on SNAP in the military too. And I remember like even being in grade right. So in the 90s, I had this friend and she was the oldest. I think she had two younger brothers and they lived in military housing. And I remember thinking, oh, They must be
Fancy.
really going over her house,
Yeah.
and she was like, the house was falling apart. Her mom was just complaining about how poor they are, and I don't know if I said that or if she was just complaining in general. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, but you get this house, and she's like, yeah, and it's falling apart, and blah 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 blah. And I was just like, oh, okay. That's when I figured out that most of the people that are living in like base housing are living just hand to mouth like we are everybody else.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, especially like when you're in the lower ranks, you don't make very much money at
And you have
all.
to move all the time. I can't imagine like it's easy for like your spouse to constantly be finding a job.
Yeah, that's why a lot of them get married so they can go ahead and get some extra income. But it says like so it's McDonald's. The largest employers is Walmart, McDonald's, which I guess is not that surprising, Amazon, and Dollar General.
Damn, I thought Amazon was paying 17 an hour.
Yeah, but then they fuck you over on the hours, right?
Yeah,
Like what? No overtime?
Like they'll
I
do
think
the
that they
whole
try to make sure you're not like full time.
Oh, works. I thought I didn't hear that part. I just heard of like the extraneous working conditions and like
Yeah, there's that too.
how people pee in bottles on the fucking assembly line.
Yeah, it's all crazy. I don't know. I mean, I think that like
But to go
overall,
through
it's
all of
just
that and still have to be on Snap is fucking wild.
yeah. And I think that what's also crazy is like the requirements that I think like a lot of people aren't acknowledging that you have to like go recertify. Like the system is so bureaucratic that they try to make sure that nobody's like taking advantage of it, that they put in like basic kind of work requirements for you to even qualify and get them in the first place.
I mean, the bureaucracy is part of the requirement that they make
Right.
it purposely difficult so that you don't want to go through it.
Do you see like woman on TikTok? And I'm pretty sure like all this stuff is just rage bait, but she's like, no more just buying junk. You get a ration
Yeah, I
of
saw that.
meat, whatever, da da da. And I was like, are these people brand new? They don't know anything about like government cheese. Like, do they just like completely check out of the world?
Yeah,
And they don't know like
I think that they do.
that's already happened, buddy. What are you talking about? Like, I don't know. And I also just feel like sometimes if the average person shouldn't like have an opportunity to just comment on things like, hey babe, just assume that the world works without you knowing everything and then like worry about your own shit.
I think the world would be a lot better if people did worry about their own shit. But that was the other thing that I learned this week is that they do think that if people starve, that there's less demand at the grocery store, and they have a rudimentary understanding of supply and demand. So they think that less demand means more supply and cheaper groceries because they have to. But I'm like,
I
the
think that
grocery
they
store
like
already throws
also
away so much food. Like there's already
yeah,
enough supply.
they didn't see that young kid get arrested for like taking food out of the trash and then they charged him with theft.
I love
But
the. Oh, sorry.
well, I was just like, I feel like they like because Daddy Trump told them that he was gonna, decrease grocery prices, they have to like do some like mental gymnastics to make all of this make sense. So they're like, well, he's keeping the SNAP benefits because he's living up to his promise of making groceries more affordable.
Right.
So I don't even know if they like equated that or that's just like what they're trying to believe because,
But they also think that the way that you bring down housing prices is
it's by kicking out the migrants.
right. And I'm like, but then in the next breath, they're like, but 20 of, like JD Vance said, 20 of them are living in the house next to you speaking Spanish. And you should want to live next to people who speak the same language as you. Look, I don't know. I have enough intellectual curiosity and I'm nosy as shit. So I would just learn whatever language it was, first of all, and not let them know spy shit. And then second of all, if there's 20 of them living to a house, then kicking them all out, not going to free up houses. Like, I don't understand. Like, they contradict themselves all the time.
Well, and then there's like again, it's like, focusing on the people that are like at our level and not on the like landlords who will price things so high that they don't care that they have 20 empty units because
Yeah.
they're pricing units so high that like they're making their money regardless. They'll
Right. And
keep
they get to
a
write
place
off.
empty.
They get to write off, right, what they lose.
The loss, yeah,
Right.
for anything that they haven't rented. So again, it's just like we're all down here, like, looking at each other, but like nobody's looking at the corporations and like seeing how much money they've made on the backs of all these people. Like
Which is the same
kicking out the
argument that
migrants is not going to work.
right. Which is the same argument they use for not raising the minimum wage. Well, prices are going to go up and it's going to be more expensive for me. Well, they're still going up and you haven't raised minimum wage. So what's the answer now? Because I was at Trader Joe's today doing grocery shopping, and I wasn't buying filet, but like the chicken and everything's all in the same spot. So I walked
Mhm.
past the fillets. It happened to be at eye level, and it was $35.99 a pound.
Yeah.
$35.99, and I remember it being like $10 or $12 a couple weeks ago.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at it in so long, but I do remember like, feeling like I could just buy myself a steak at the grocery store for like $12 and feeling good
Yeah.
about it. And then like, and I'll just eat really good. Like I'll get me some little, what's those little brocchini,
Yeah,
and a potato and a steak. And like it's a cheap meal and I don't have to tip anybody. But now you really might as well go to
right,
the restaurant.
right.
Except for some restaurants are like fucking crazy too. Yeah. Like there was a gentleman on like, well, you're spending $27 on cupcakes to take to your son's class and you could have bought all those materials. And I was like,
No, the fucking
tell me you
point.
don't go to the grocery store without telling me you don't go to the grocery store because that's not actually true.
Anybody that's had to take something to their work potluck knows it's cheaper to just buy the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how are the restaurants turning a profit?
I don't
Like,
think that they are. I think it's
They're
so
making the portions smaller
yeah.
and like trying to offer things that like they can do kind of in bulk. But
but
I
is it
also think, I
not
mean, they have a
real
razor
food?
thin margin for profits. So I don't think that a lot of them are making a profit. Like some of them are trying to just raise the price, but then of course, like not all of us can just continue to go.
So there's this really delicate balance of I raise the price and I make more money, but fewer people come. So you're still like this. I think small business is just getting crushed, honestly.
Do you remember that game on the telephone, like when Nokia's first came out, and you were a drug dealer. You started off
Oh
selling
yeah.
weed, and then you had to work your way up, right? But that's exactly what it was. You're like, yeah, I could price this weed at like
That was
$60 a gram.
that was the best deterrent. We need to bring back drug dealer gangs because I was like, this shit is not making sense. Like it's a lot of math. It's real hard. And then you got to beat people up. Like
Well, did you know, like, too, I think that what deterred me from drugs is like the only people making real money is the people like at the very
At
top.
the top, it's a Ponzi
Yeah.
scheme. Yeah,
I
you
was
gotta
like,
get people
oh,
under
I
you
didn't.
to make money, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like most businesses operate that way, but it's just like, yeah, it's like, oh, well, like I'm gonna be on the line. Like, so you mean to tell me that the guys in the wire that were getting their brains blown out made like no money?
Yeah,
yeah,
they
but
were
you got
they
to put
were
in your
hoping to
time.
be, yeah.
You got to put in
Yeah.
your time to be Weibo and Stringer Bill. Like
I mean, you might spend a good amount of time in jail
yeah.
like
You
less
might
than
not
$20
ever
an
make
hour.
it. Yeah,
Yeah. You're like, oh man, now I'm in prison, like trying to watch my back,
or you
trying to
could get to the top and then like the boss just never fucking die. Like that would be worse,
That's
right?
the worst.
Like
That's why they just start like plotting to take him out. Fuck it. He's gotta go.
this dude won't die.
Yeah. Why do you keep having all these lucky breaks? Just fuck it. I'm gonna work with the other guy now.
That's like the equivalent of your boomer manager quitting, and you're like, oh my God, I need it for my.
You said you were gonna retire 5 years ago. Yeah, what the fuck? I don't remember who it was, but somebody recently was like, "Have you ever watched Oz?" Oh, I think it was that guy who did my nails. I was like, "Actually, I watched it when I was a child."
Yeah, right. This movie watched after Sunday dinner.
And he was like, "Oh." I was like, "Yeah, I mean, it probably wasn't appropriate."
But it was a good deterrent because I was also like, I would.
I
I
was
was
like,
like,
"Do you
yeah,
know how
this
many
sounds
times
good.
you have to get stabbed with a shank to die?"
What?
I was like, "No, no, thank you." It was like
Mm.
terrible. He was
The
like,
only
"Yeah, I
thing
mean, there was a lot of killing."
I was coming home from the store and I go down 23rd. Then you have to drive through the east side, which is in Oklahoma. The east side of Oklahoma City is like four side of town. And there was this white guy and he was mowing his lawn right on 23rd. He had this huge swastika on his chest. And I was like, but he wasn't getting beat up. So I was like, "Man, he must be cool." Because it was
Yeah.
hot that day. He had a shirt on. It was like I could see it from the street. It was huge. And I got home and I was telling William, like, he's like, yeah, when you go to jail, you just have to join the area. It's not
Yeah, pick a side. Yeah. And he's like, "No, I'm very clearly picked this side,
like,
so
it-
let me in."
so
Yeah.
I was like, why
I
would he
mean,
leave
it's
there?
yeah, I feel like, well, it's cheap probably,
It's
cheaper.
affordable.
It's
Yeah.
affordable.
And his neighbors are like, hey, this Kyle,
Spoken like a
Kyle.
true real estate mogul. He's like, "It's affordable." I said, "It's cheap." Good job, Clarence. You're right. Use those words.
That's right.
But yeah, so it's just, I don't know. It's just like, it's really depressing. And then I was thinking about it because my friend messaged me and she was like, "Hey, do you want to take the kids to Sky Zone?" And I was like, "No, not today, but thanks for asking." And she's like, "Yeah, I've just been really depressed and I need to get out of it." And I was like, "I don't want to play
Spending money.
the oppression Olympics, but yeah, girl, it's hard."
It is hard.
Yeah, like right now, I mean, it's like, it's just so hard to like try to ground yourself and like, I'm starting several businesses and like needing to talk to people and probably needing to present this like really
Put
excited.
together.
Yeah, but
Right.
not just put together, but like, excited and zeal for life and hope
Yeah.
for the future. And instead, it's like, it's hard because it's like, even when you're like, okay, I need to make content to like talk to people, it's hard to like not remember that people don't have food. But then to be like, well, but if I don't work today, then
No, I won't either.
I'm not going to
maybe I won't either in 30
Right.
days. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just been rough, you know. It's just continuously rough. And like I said, it's like, I don't know. Just there's layoffs here in Pasadena at a place called JPL. And
Yeah,
then there's,
yeah, like
yeah,
those are pretty good jokes.
yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like I was telling somebody else. I had lunch with a friend today, and she was like, "Well, I don't know. Like, if this goes on too much longer, like, I'm gonna get furloughed and I don't know what to do and blah blah blah." I was like, "Yeah, I work for a healthcare system, and I'm just looking around every day. I get another call that's like, so and so's retiring, or so and so left, or so and so quit, and it's all executives." And I'm like, okay, feels like the writing's on the wall a little.
Yeah.
Okay, but I can't go get another job. And I was telling my husband that I've never, ever, ever worried about. Like, I'm not trying to brag, but like, I purposely got a certain set of skills that would always be needed. You know what I mean? Like, I could always find a job, even if I had to take a pay cut, I could find a job.
Mhm.
But now I'm like, everybody's losing their job. Like, there's not enough jobs. I've never, ever felt that way. And like, I came out of college in the last recession. You know what I mean? Like, and even then, it
Well, I
wasn't this
mean,
bad.
it's not. It's kind of a perfect storm because it's not just a recession, and it's not just corporations needing to pad their, quarter four projections and give money back to the shareholders. But there's also tyrannical fucking administration in right now.
Yeah.
That's just like crazy. And then you got the advent and introduction of AI too. Like Paycom just laid off 500 people. Amazon just laid off 14,000. Like, and they're touting that AI are just able to do these jobs. So
but it's not, and that's the
And
fucking
that's what's
part.
really crazy is like it's not actually doing that
Right.
great. Like I was even in a meeting the other day and they were like, "Oh, we can just plug all this data into AI," and I was like, "Who double checks the data?" And they're like, "Oh, I don't know." I mean,
no,
but like, yeah, but I was like, but if you can go onto ChatGPT and it just makes shit up, then like, couldn't it just do the same thing for your data?
absolutely.
It
I mean, in
absolutely
some
does.
cases, it's nice.
Right. Those jobs are not being done by AI. Like what's happening is that
They're putting that workload on their other employees.
they're putting that
They're
workload
doing-
on other people because
Yeah.
Paycom has an AI solution that they want to sell people. Amazon has AI solutions on AWS. All those people are. Salesforce has an AI. And Salesforce, if you've ever not, if you, I probably shouldn't disparage it, but if you've ever worked in, it is the ugliest piece of shit software that I've ever seen in my life. I don't know why it's so expensive. I guess just because everything else is worse, but it's terrible.
Yeah, because I was like, we were using a system that was like basically just an Excel spreadsheet on crack. It was like
Yeah.
just put your shit in a Google form ultimately, and then it feeds into this table, and then we just make a pivot table
That's insane.
on the back end, and they're like, and that'll be $30,000. You're like,
A month.
could do that with oh yeah. They're like, I could do that with fucking Looker Studio. They're like, yeah, but you didn't.
Yeah.
I hear. So
Yeah, so give me some money. Yeah, it's really interesting. I don't know. I mean, yeah. It's just hard not to be like down.
It is.
know that it's all imaginary. It's all monopoly money. And I mean, that mindset will only take you so far, right? Because obviously it is real and we are talking about food and education, but I don't know, man. I
I guess
got
like
Yeah.
it
out of
being
it.
fake is why it's so frustrating. And like having people like it actually made me so mad I had to turn off my phone, like watching the Halloween party at Mar-a-Lago and like
Oh my
having
God.
women scantily clad.
I
women
wish that
scantily
the
clad.
fucking January Sixers would just come back for that and be like, are you fucking kidding me? And then just riot that kind of party. But instead, they don't do that.
I was like, this is actually the Hunger Games.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's really crazy.
What district would you be from?
I don't
We
know.
would
I mean,
have,
I
we
guess
would
it
be from
depends.
5 because that's where they put all the black people.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, that
yeah.
makes it real easy, right?
Yeah.
But what did they like? What was their good? Do you know?
It's
If
kind
they
of
put us all
racist.
together, that might be like a vibe.
It was kind of racist. If okay, I'm saying like that's where all the black people were, but like Beatty was in 13, so it's not really true that that's where all the black people were. But it is a little bit racist, but I think that's kind of on purpose. They were tree climbers, and their product was like fruit.
Yeah, that's a bit on the nose, no? Like,
Yeah,
What's the product that comes out of like Southern California? Like if they just like round us up right now, what would we do?
SoCal? I
Oh,
don't know, man. Like, beaded necklaces, blanket. I don't, I don't know.
What about
No,
Oklahoma City?
agriculture and wine. You would provide wine for sure. We would provide grain. We would be the bread basket.
Oh, okay. I was thinking about this little girl because I went to UPS today, and this little girl was like looking at my tattoos, and I was like, you should ask, but she never did. I was like, I'm gonna give her my whole spiel about what things mean. But did you know that the Oklahoma fruit is a strawberry?
It makes no fucking sense. We don't grow strawberries here.
The avocado is for California. But
I thought
yeah,
avocados came from Mexico.
Well, California
this
part
is
of Mexico,
California. That
baby.
is, yeah.
Huh.
This is
Like
Mexico,
Baja
baby.
California is used to be Mexico. Um, Funny in Oklahoma, you can tell which kids are homeschooled because they've never seen black people before, and they just look at you like this.
But I think that's, I mean, like here, especially too, because it's like there's so many schools with like hardly any black people. So it's like maybe that's also the case. It's like there's not very many black people in most people's schools. So they're like, hey,
Like,
girl,
what are you
we're
doing
here.
here?
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
just have a really good tan.
Like, no, you're actually like the real one because everybody uses the N word. Have you seen that video? I didn't see the video, the real video, but someone was like, then this man comes to his house and there's a cop in the house and the cop is like fixing his pants and the wife is there and he's like, "What are you doing in my house? Like, who called you here?" And he was like, "She did." Well, it's because they like just hooked up. And so he's following the cop out, like asking for his badge number and some other stuff. And then he calls him the N word. And
The
like
cop
nobody's
calls him the N-word?
no, the husband calls the cop the N word, but nobody's black.
Oh my god.
I was like, they were like, nobody in the story is black, so how did we get in it? And I was like, it's because everybody just says it. I was like, it's just weird. I don't know.
It's
It's
like the
just
most. I did have kind of that revelation too, because I was thinking about Kayla Nicole after the whole
oh yeah.
Halloween thing, and how there were Taylor Swifties who were saying like really racist things to Kayla Nicole, but they were like, "I'm not racist. I was just saying something mean." And I'm like, so they're just trying to think of like the meanest thing that they can say.
What
And
were they
if the thing is
saying?
mean, you know what they were saying.
They called her the N word?
Yes, and like, all sorts of animals and shit.
Like a Jezebel or something else?
Like
What?
monkeys and
Water
oh.
everywhere and
And so anyway, so they were just like, well, it's just the meanest thing that we could say to a black person. And I'm
But
like,
they love watermelon.
sweetheart, it's still
racism.
like
I think that that's the thing is like
exists
when you
still.
yeah, when you're like, I'm gonna be mean, and then like you go to like racism, you're like, oh, okay, like you should unpack that. You should unpack it.
Well,
Just
so
like
this
the people who are like, oh, the people who are like, oh, I bet that $40,000-$50,000 man is looking real good right now when you don't have your SNAP benefits, and you're like, do you hear yourself?
but this
Like,
goes
there's
back
a
to
man attached to those work benefits, right? So it's like
Right.
it's
That's
not
another
his
fucking
40,
mouth
fifty
like that
thousand job.
I gotta feed and take care of.
but this goes back to like your previous point of like if you're not educated on a certain subject, like you shouldn't speak. I have an opposing ideology because I believe that everybody needs to be like so educated that we're no longer ignorant because I think that's just basically what's happening is that ignorance is prevailing and everybody is just kind of adhering to their own socioeconomic media echo chamber
But I
where
want
But I feel like, oh, go ahead.
I don't want to push on that because I also was like listening to like literacy experts and people who are in that field, and they're like, like some people are only going to be able to achieve a certain amount, like no matter what,
comprehend so much.
of
Yeah.
comprehension. And if you look at the bell curve, that means like some people aren't going to be able to understand like the complexities that come with government and governing 50 states that are very diverse. So they're just people that just are not going to get it. Right.
Yeah, I think that that's kind of like the point is like not that you shouldn't speak on it. It's just that even when you look at like what it talks about, when you look at like bias training, implicit bias training, it's like basically you have to go into it with the notion that your first thought is not your last. So you might have a first thought and that's your hypothesis. And again, that's based on your background knowledge on like what you think to be true, whatever. And then you have to spend the time to actually like look into it and see if that's true. And so a lot of times like I kind of make the thing of like I don't know what I was listening to today, but it was about a celebrity. And I was like, oh, I should look into that and see if it's true. And then I decided that I didn't care enough to look into it to see if it was true. So I'm not going to go and like, talk shit about that person because like I don't know, I didn't know who they were before. I don't know who they are now. I don't give a fuck about what they did or didn't do. So it's like they don't come across my timeline and I only have capacity for so much. And so like the same is true for people who are like really concerned about food stamps. Like if you don't know anything about food stamps and your first assumption is like everybody on food stamps is abusing it and no one should really be on food stamps, then you
You
shouldn't
should
speak
shut the
on
fuck
that
up.
unless you're going to do the research. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to look into like whether or not your initial hypothesis is real, then you can go and do the research. But if you're not going to do the research, then you should be like, okay, let me opt out of that conversation and move on to like things that I actually find important. And I think that's the challenge is like a lot of people are just like having an opinion on everything and they really don't know anything.
Yeah, I feel that because I read into like some rabbit hole about David Harbour and Lily Allen, and
Yeah.
just
And I was like, actually, I don't care. I mean, I just noticed that Lily Allen, every video so far that's come across my timeline, she's smoking a vape. And I was like, does she have a vape like brand deal or
company.
something? Yeah. But then I decided again, I don't care.
I mean,
Because like he cheated on her, she's gonna be rich, he's gonna be rich after this conversation. I actually don't give a fuck. Like it doesn't matter to me. But yeah, I mean, like what can I do?
yeah, it
I
makes
think
sense.
that's the thing is like, people walk into a space like I'm not an economist. I understand I'm not an economist. There's a lot that you have to know. Like, there's like when some of the economists that I follow are like, okay, food is not elastic. Okay, I don't know what the fuck that means. But I also like understand fundamentally that just because a business is losing money because people don't have SNAP benefits doesn't mean they're going to drop the price of everything and we're all going to like get groceries for super cheap.
Right.
Just like if everybody can't afford cars, the gas prices didn't go down. Like,
Right.
I don't even remember, but I was like in 2020, I don't remember the gas being like extremely cheap and no one was driving.
Car prices don't go down. Like,
Yeah,
like
car prices
nothing is
didn't go
fucking
down.
going
Like,
down.
Yeah, I
I
bought a
think
car in
during the
2021.
pandemic, the car
Yeah,
prices were higher
way
and we
higher.
weren't even driving anywhere. And
Right.
so it was like, so to me, like fundamentally is like, oh, it doesn't work the way you think. And so, but it's like instead of like, but I don't want to dive into like the economics and the way that that works. It's just that like I know morally, I feel like we have a social responsibility to take care of people and not have them be hungry because obviously that increases the crime rate. And we're all safer when people have food. But like that's just fundamentally where I land. And it's like
And
I
we
don't give a
have
fuck.
enough to go around. Like we have a
Yeah, I was
surplus.
like, I don't care. Like, again, fundamentally, to me, if you have $257 billion, like I was telling mom, I was like, like at first when I was thinking, like, oh, well, they're saying like tax the rich, and it's like, okay, but then eventually they won't be billionaires anymore. I was like, but then I didn't realize that like Mark Zuckerberg is worth 257 billion
Bill
with a
with a
B
B.
dollars, not just, you know what I mean? He's not, it wasn't just like, oh, he's a millionaire and now he's like a billionaire and he's got $2 billion. Like Jay-Z has $2 billion. Like that is an inconceivable amount of money. But then I was like, but this guy has $257 billion. That's crazy.
Yeah,
So
but
it's like,
they get off on it because they go, well, it's the whole capital gain conversation, and then it's unrealized because it's
yeah, they're just like blah blah blah. But I was like, but you could afford like even at 20% every year because they don't tax you on like your overall net worth. They're taxing
right.
you on like what you made for
That
per
year.
year.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's like you're never going to pay 20, 30, 50% of your net worth from that one year. So like, and you're going to always have like tax loopholes and blah blah blah, like there's your money is all diversified
Right off.
and you've
And
got
yeah.
like all this stuff and that's fine, but still if you paid $50 billion and or 50 yeah, even if he paid $50 billion in taxes, he'd still be
A
one of the
billion.
richest people. But yeah,
He
he'd
still
still be
has
a billionaire and
$207 billion.
he'd still have more money than him, his kids, his grandkids, their grandkids, and their grandkids could ever fucking spend. So it's just like, I mean, to me, like, why do we give a fuck if Mark Zuckerberg and place and to go back to him, he's making money off of our fucking data. Like this man came up with an app, and
that
it
we
wasn't
give
just
to
like
him for free.
yeah, that we give to him for free, and he just keeps making money and money and money over it. So it's like, yeah, we're entitled to you giving us some of that shit back in taxes. So
And
and
also,
the billionaires spend millions of fucking dollars on politicians to try to make sure that their taxes stay low. Just give the money to the state, bro.
right? Exactly.
Anyway, that's it.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I saw this video the other day. I think it was outside. It was either outside of Facebook or Google, but I assume it's true in both places. And the people who work there can't afford to live in the area, so they super commute because they have to be because there is return to office, and there's just a fucking RV camper city all the way around in the in the nearby very expensive neighborhoods. People are just living on the street in their RVs during the week. And this guy
That's
has $250
fucking wild.
billion. You see
So
the
what do you
video?
think is the answer though? Do you think that like there should
That
be
he
a
makes
cap
less
or how
money.
much?
Like, I don't understand how people go to fucking work. Like, okay,
I think that
in
they're
an office, I would go to fucking work. Okay, COVID. I had a fucking, everybody started working from home, and so they were doing like meetings every week to keep in touch and blah 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 blah. The fucking CFO of this Fortune 500 company that I was on working for at the time got on, and he was like, and this is during COVID when so many people weren't eating and they lost their jobs, or people were in the hospital or whatever. And he's like, yeah, my son's really sad. He had to come home from Ibiza. And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, he just loves living in Ibiza, 8 months out of the year. And I'm like, so this motherfucker doesn't work? Like, you make so much money that your 30-year-old kid can just pop pills in Ibiza, and you think that's normal to fucking get on here and tell me? Like,
Yeah, because
that's
I just give him 40,000 a year. Like, it's not a big
like
deal.
that doesn't make any fucking sense. Or like going into the office, and my boss's boss's boss comes up from Dallas because we're all over the country, and every year he has a new fucking Mercedes, not a little Mercedes, a big body. Every fucking year you get a new $100,000 car. Every year.
Because it's a write-off tree.
But what I'm saying is like you have so much
yeah, the company
fucking
pays for it.
money because
Mhm.
I don't. So you're getting bonuses. I can look at the fucking sheet and see how much you're getting. You're getting bonuses and checks, and you're coming and telling me, well, we didn't make 20% EBITDA year over year profits. We didn't do double digits. We only made 19, so no raise for you. Like, you make less
Yeah.
money. The reason that I can't get a raise is because you make so much money. That's why. Because they
But then they're like,
so
oh, but I have a cost of living increase built into my contract. So every year I have to get my, 5%. I
right,
didn't get a raise. I haven't gotten a raise in like 6 years.
right. But your 5%
But
is
like
also on
6% is like
$700,000.
$20,000 a year. They're like, yeah, but I didn't get a raise. You're like, yeah, but you got like 100,000 more a year. And they're like, yeah, I mean, but that's just cost of living.
Why are you
Right,
pocket watching?
Yeah. What the fuck is
right.
wrong with
And
you?
I like one year, the year I was gonna quit, I got a promotion, so I got a $5,000 raise, and I felt like I was fucking bawling, right? But you're
Rich
getting
Yeah.
a
bitch.
fucking $100,000 raise, and you're like, ugh, bad year.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, it's very sad. But yeah, but it's like, but then they lease their cars and then they write it off as business expenses. And there's just like all these like things that you learn about like how people run businesses and avoid taxes and whatever. It's just fascinating. I was on a call on Saturday and this man was like, nobody hates the 1% because they don't really have a good reason for hating the 1%. They hate the 1% because they don't think it's attainable for them. And I was like,
That's not
are you
why.
fucking clueless? Hey, I can name like 1,000 things that they're doing. Then what are you talking about? Like that's not what we're talking about.
I hate
And
the
he's
1%
like, yeah.
because every year I have to go into a fucking out yearly review, and it doesn't matter the fucking company. Every fucking year I have to go into a yearly fucking review and listen to some penciled it. And I have to go into a yearly review and listen to somebody tell me that although we did good work this year, there's not enough money in the budget. So you're just getting a 1% raise this year, which is $50, but also your healthcare is going up 2% and inflation is 3%. So, okay, you're just
You're
1%
losing
poorer
money.
this year. That's why I hate the 1%.
Yeah.
But
Because
do
like
you think that the government should put a cap on how much somebody
Fuck
could
yes,
accumulate?
I think that they should tie executive pay to our pay.
I mean,
do.
I don't know, like
Okay, so what do you
accumulate
do
because I feel
about
like
sports?
accumulation is different than like what they're paid each year, right? So we're talking about like I think Dree is talking about like regulated, right? Like regulated capitalism. And so it'd be like, well, if I have a company and I like am making so much $1 million, like there's a cap between how much I can make between the lowest paid person in my company. So like if the lowest paid person in my company is like making minimum wage and $7 or whatever, then
Then
I
I'm
can't
capped at
make
100K
yeah, whatever. Yeah. So it's like as long as I'm making, I don't know what
in a
percentage, but like
proportionate.
yeah, it should be somewhat like you can't this is kind of like here, right? Like if you have an employee and they have a schedule, they have to be able to take sick time. So it's like you can't not pay them sick time. So like I own a small business, and even though my small business makes like very minuscule money, I have to provide sick time to employees. So, and if they work a set schedule, I have to pay them for those days when they're sick. So like you just have to like figure it out. So it's kind of the same thing. It's like, well, if you're gonna make $500,000, nobody in your company should be making less than $20 an hour or whatever the fuck it is. It ends up being, which is like 10. What is that like 500,000? Because like $20 an hour ends up being like 40,000 a year or something.
Yeah, so it's
Is
like
that right?
10%. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're like, there shouldn't be a difference. So you still make a shit ton of money, but you just like don't, you know what I mean?
There's
You're not
a
gonna pay
there's
yourself.
a rope tied to your ankle and raise
Yeah,
everybody up.
right. It's like if you're gonna make 800, then this guy's got to make $80 an hour. It was like, which still is like a big difference, but
And I
whatever.
don't think property tax should go to the schools, just the schools in the area. I think you need to spread that out
Well,
because
most
there's no.
places have figured that out. Most places, I mean, I feel like even Oklahoma did this before. And there's weighted systems, but what you find again in politics or policies in schools is that even if you equalize the funding for schools, rich schools are still going to have more because
They're
they're going
boosters.
to fundraise, they're going to have boosters, they're going to have like parent involvement that's going to get them more money. So
And
they're
they
going to
have
spend more
affluent
money per
parents, right?
student than any poor school. But most places have like California, for instance, has something called the local control funding formula. So you get like, more money for special education students, a weighted formula for students who are like, always on the margins.
Low income or
Yeah, that kind of thing. And I'm pretty sure Oklahoma has that too. I don't remember
yeah,
what it's
but
called.
Ryan Walters literally took that
Oh,
grant money and
that's
gave
right.
it to fucking private Christian school.
Yeah, he
So
gave it to Kaplan University or whoever the fuck. I
yeah.
keep forgetting that Ryan Walters is a thing.
And I think they
But
should tax
yeah.
unrealized gains.
Do you want them to tax unrealized gains?
And I understand that
All,
there's like
all that would happen, boo, is shell companies and straw
I
purchases
don't give it.
and
I still want it to happen because even if you captured only 5% of what you intend to capture, that's still a whole lot of money. And you know what? You know what? It costs money to set up shell companies. You have to pay that money to the state. So
yeah, but what
there's just
y'all
more.
aren't realizing is that these people are so illogical, are
Yeah.
so tied into the game that they would rather spend more money
I don't
to
give a
go
shit.
set up
Like how
shell
many
companies
people there
than
how
put
much
you
they're
in it.
spending on Madani not being elected? They want him to not be elected and they're like, I'm gonna give all my money. Like Or how many millions of dollars people gave Trump to make
And there's
sure
some
that
there's
Kamala is
some
not in there.
portion of that is just like they want you to be desperate because then you won't talk shit at work.
Oh yeah, they didn't like that
Yeah,
quiet
yeah.
quitting.
I'm shut the fuck up. Yeah, I'm doing whatever the fuck they tell me to do.
Yeah, they didn't like that quiet quitting
Not
Yeah,
at all.
sure.
I'm fucking looking for a second job. You think I got time to lose my first? Like, what the fuck?
Right.
Yeah, I definitely felt that too. I feel like it's like, now look at you.
I do feel like they're getting a little bit of revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was you saying, motherfucker?
Yeah. Now who needs who?
Cancel Christmas. You won't be able to afford that motherfucker.
Yeah, fuck you and your kids. Anyway, I guess we're at the 46-minute mark, so
What's episode 2 of Welcome to Derry?
You know what, bro? I know Black Twitter, I know Black America is not fucking with it, and I'm really fucking. Just from a horror standpoint, I am fucking with it. And it's Stephen King, so he is gonna shed light on that racism. He's not shying away from those. I don't want to call them tropes, right? But like, he's not shying away from those difficult conversations. And like, I'm here for it, bro. I'm fucking with it. Andy Machete is doing his goddamn thing, and hate it or love it, man. I fucking love it.
It wasn't as I did watch it, and it wasn't as
Okay.
uncomfortable as I thought it could be. So I was appreciative of that. That fucking Lily Bainbridge, bro.
I'll fight that little. And then you ended up in that shit anyway. You ended up there anyway, ma'am. Don't let them pressure you into dirty cop.
And
I don't want to spoil it.
Ronnie should at least be. She should at least be on a timeout. She needs to get grounded. You shouldn't have taken those kids there anyway. Using the key.
I mean, come on, bro. She's trying to help. You know what I'm saying? It was
You know
innocent.
what?
We just
You know what they say about a helping hand?
best kept in your pocket. And that's a hard lesson to learn, man. I think it'll be all right. It'll be okay. But people are upset because they feel like they're going to focus on the black spot. And I went back and watched the first It movie, and they do mention the black spot like 4 or 5. Oh,
I think that they will because Dick Halloran, when he was out, they were like, "Well, where
he
are we
was there.
supposed to go to like unwind after work? Going to make the black spot." So I do. Boy, whoever they got playing Dick Halloran, he's smooth than a motherfucker, ain't he?
It is. And he looked like him. Like, they did a
He
great job
does.
casting. Yeah.
They were coming back drunk, and he was like, they were like, "Where y'all? You're not supposed to be off base." Well, he's like,
Special privileges. And
yeah, and he was like,
make sure that Dick Halloran is out here.
I was like, that was smooth. I like that.
Clarissa, you know what?
no.
You don't do horror? Or?
I don't know. I think the last thing I watched from Stephen King was on like the Hulu shows.
Oh,
So-
Castle Rock. Oh, Castle
Yeah,
Rock
that's
is
the one.
terrible. Yeah, don't.
Yeah.
No, baby. That ain't. These last couple of years, Stephen King fans have been eating, and it's been fun.
Yeah, but wait a minute. What was the one where it was like I did watch a Stephen King one, where it was like God coming back or something.
That's The
devil?
Stand, bro.
Yeah, that one, The Stand.
The Stand was, they redid it a year or two ago, and it wasn't either. Nobody's done justice to The Stand. It's just
Yeah,
such a
so-
big story, I think.
Yeah, it's hard to encapsulate.
Yeah,
but they
who was
have
the
8
Oracle?
1-hour episodes, bro. So like, you can't wrap this shit up in 8 hours.
Yeah,
What the
like
fuck
they
are
don't
we
know how to
doing?
do it justice in 8 hours. Anyway, whatever. So yeah, so no, I just didn't like. I saw that it existed. I just didn't tune in.
I mean,
So-
but hey,
I did watch The Task on HBO.
I'm gonna check it out. I went
And
back and
I-
started Game of Thrones. So, but
Yeah,
I need
I
to watch it.
loved The Task on HBO. I thought it was like frustrating to watch, and each week, and then I thought it was done, wrapped up beautifully at the end.
Can you
so
give me
now-
a little bit? I know it's about a father that's tied up into a game.
Yeah, I
right?
think, like,
And there's a-
Ultimately, what I mean, I don't really know if they want this to like come out like, before, but it's ultimately about fatherhood like throughout, right? Like so there's the main character is Mark Ruffalo and he's a dad who just went through this like big loss and they don't really explain it. Like they explain it through pieces and then you like kind of find out like his complicated feelings around like this loss and like I don't know, his role in it and like whatever. And so he's like kind of reeling from like this depression and then he gets assigned to this task force and the task force is to figure out like who's robbing all these gangs. And I think like the people who started robbing the gangs is kind of like Omar-ish. Like they think, they're gonna
Robin
hit
Hood.
these places, yeah, and like just steal drugs or
Mhm.
steal money from dealers. And it's like they're not really like hurting anything. And then they end up like robbing a place and everything goes wrong and they end up like leaving with a child. And then you learn more about like who the people are behind it and what their motivations are. And then it just really ends up being just like this whole story about,
World.
yeah,
Yeah.
love and being a father and being a dad. And
That sounds like that Ryan. What was the movie where Ryan Gosling rides the motorcycle
Oh,
and
that
works
is
for
William's favorite movie.
what
Into
is
the
that one?
Pines?
Yeah,
Into the Pines. I think I did watch that, but I don't remember it.
that's where him and his wife
Oh, okay. Maybe I didn't watch it.
with
Ryan
Eva
Gosling?
Mendes, Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes met on that. They have a
He's married to
kid.
Eva Mendes?
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
have a kid. They have a kid
Go
in the
Ryan.
movie, and he said like being with her and like that fake, like, not their
In
kid.
that fake
Like
family?
I would like to have a real baby with you, and then what he did, he manifested it.
My boy is living his dreams. I'm
Yeah,
fucking with it. He saw
But
Training
it
Day and
still
shit.
didn't help him from changing his face.
oh, I hate it. I hate it so
Yeah.
much. Fillers
Living
are
I
the
the
haven't
dream,
worst.
but
seen his.
still,
I ain't
Fillers are
seen
the
his.
worst.
I saw Bradley Cooper's. Yeah,
yeah,
I saw Bradley Cooper.
I get it. I mean, but also, come on, guys.
I mean, just age. Look at George Clooney, bro. Like the dude's
Yeah, he
still
looks
alive.
great.
Yeah, like look at Ben Stiller. Like,
I
why are
was
we afraid of aging?
I was listening to like some plastic surgeon, and she was talking about Anne Hathaway. She was like, she's clearly had something done, but there's two ways to do it. You can do it really slow, and then most people don't want to do that because it takes years, but it looks so much better. It looks very, very natural. It just looks like you're very refreshed. It's like they instead of fillers, they like inject collagen, but they do it very slowly. And then you could just get fillers, and then that shit starts to turn into rock. Like it gets really hard, and then it starts moving, and that's why they have like the pillow face. Except rock is just moving in their face, which like I wouldn't want to feel
Can
that
you
as
not
much.
cut that shit out at that point?
I think
Then they
they
have to
can
cut your face.
take, I don't know. It's a
That
lot.
you can get it dissolved, but then that takes a long time.
Money could
Then
be a curse, dog.
and then you have to
I
put whatever.
often like I know we gotta go. I know we gotta wrap this up, but like oftentimes I think about it, and when I find myself like wishing that I hit the lottery, I just know God knew what the fuck He was doing because your boy would be on another fucking level. Let me
Yeah.
have unlimited resources. Who the fuck are you talking to? Like what?
Yeah.
Excuse me? Do you know who I am? Like it would be, yeah, no.
You'd be like Glorilla when she got pulled over. Do you know who you're talking to? Do you know who I am? I'm on your TV. And I was like, Glow, she probably doesn't know you.
She don't give a shit about.
Yeah. Like Ice Spice, I guess, is doing a campaign for like Kate Spade. I was like, I bet no one knows who the fuck that is.
I sucks. Like I only know her because of like the controversy, and I went and listened to her shit. I was like, this is awful, actually, and not even from some I'm old and I don't understand kid music. It was just bad.
Yeah. I was like, I definitely can't work out to it.
She's a cutie though. She's got freckles and red hair.
Yeah, that's why she's on Kate Spade. They like her.
Yeah, she's adorable, bro. Also, Megan the Stallion 8 for Halloween, my boy. She ran with the fucking
What did she do this
like
time?
she just
Oh, with
she
her.
does anime characters every year, and you know your boy loves anime, and she just
I was telling
if
Lillian
you
that
have
she
money,
got
like
her
that's what she
she got her pumpkin head pierced. And I was like, yeah, like that was pretty cool. And she was like, because next year Lillian wants to be a jack-o'-lantern with a suit
Mhm.
and a pumpkin head. I was like, oh, we should get it pierced like Meg the Stallion. She was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
So is there plan to walk around with a real life pumpkin on her head?
Yeah.
I think you probably should get one of those big Halloween buckets and cut a hole in the bottom because like that just seems super fucking.
I think you could probably just buy a head, right?
Well,
Probably.
I ain't seen no pumpkin heads. Where are you gonna get a pumpkin head from?
I don't know, but I did when I was passing out candy. I saw people and they had like these huge.
Wait,
heads
Lala
and
Anthony is
heads.
dating Damon Idris? Is that
Isn't
that
she
true?
You
way
talking
older?
about you talking about Snowfall?
I mean, or did they just arrive to this party together? I went to go look for
A
Meg the
pumpkin head.
Stallion, and
Isn't she like
and
20, 30 years older than him?
I don't know. I
Lala?
mean, she seemed a
Yeah,
lot older.
Lala
Wait,
was
is
on
Tiana
MTV.
Taylor married? I
Yeah,
mean,
we were.
pregnant?
No.
Or,
She was just that was just Halloween because she's pregnant
oh,
and.
I mean, that's a fucking good ass.
But I think it's the same belly that she was
Prosthetic.
using in the movie One Battle After Another.
Yeah, that's
She,
what they said.
yeah, she went as her character.
That's
Because she was
that's
just
really
at some
good.
other party and she was like naked and then those abs were painted on. They were really there. And I was like, God damn, that's just resonant. She must eat nothing.
I don't know what
She
the
just
hell's
has
going
one
on.
chicken breast a day.
Dude, man, bro, and this is what I'm saying. If you have money like that, dog, you could pay somebody a salary of $60,000-$70,000 to do
Just to cook.
nothing,
Just to cook.
just to make sure that your food is nutritious and delicious, and like fit your macros. You can have a doctor draw your blood and tell you what exactly for your phenotype you should be eating. Like having access to these resources.
Yeah.
And my
Yeah, that's what they
little
mean about the 24 hours in a day. It's like, well, Beyonce has the same 24 hours. I'm like, no, she doesn't.
No, she doesn't.
yeah, she's buying other
No.
people's
Because
24
she's
hours.
got 6 people spending their 24 hours like knocking shit out for her, bro. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, like she's not spending 2 hours doing laundry a day. That's just not happening.
She's
Anyway.
she's not putting the Zoom call on mute to go turn over the laundry. I promise.
Yeah, no, she's not doing that. Nobody would expect her to. They'd be like, "Why are you in here?"
She's
You
not
even know how this
dressing her
works?
children. She's not helping them with their homework. She's not
Yeah,
fucking
she's
cooking
like,
dinner. She's not. No, bro. It's not happening.
she's not even warming up her leftovers.
She's not commuting to work. She's not dealing with her shit boss. She's not. Like, what?
Yeah.
She is the boss. Like
She is the shit boss.
they're commuting
Yeah.
to her.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway. Okay, love you too.
Love you.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the It's Fine, Sweetie podcast.